I'm the year 1972. 1972 was a pretty crazy year, guys. So, in the next few minutes, we're just going to go over a couple of some of the most awesome things that happened in 1972. In America, at least. In 1972, Steve Carlton won 46% of the Phillies games. That means that he won 27 of them. He is the last National League pitcher to win more than 25 games in one season. On January 4th, Hewlett-Packard, otherwise known as HP, released the world's first pocket scientific calculator called the HP 35 because it had 35 keys on it. This product was revolutionary because it was able to do more than just subtract, add, multiply, and divide. This product was originally priced at $395. To us it looks primitive compared to modern-day scientific calculators, but think of it back then. I mean, I still can't even figure out mine. On January 16th, Super Bowl VI, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Miami Dolphins 24-3. Super Bowl VI was held at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. This was the Cowboys' first Super Bowl to win. The Cowboys set numerous Super Bowl records here, such as the most rushing yards and the most first downs. From February 3rd to 13th, the 1972 Winter Olympics were held in Sapporo, Japan. I probably said that wrong, but I'm not Eric. This is the first Winter Olympics to be held outside of Europe or North America. On February 15th, the United States gave federal copyright protection to sound recordings. Before this became a federal law, the problem of copyright was held at a state level, and some states didn't even have any copyright laws. On February 17th, the Volkswagen Beetle outsold the Ford Model T with the 15,007,034 sold. This car started production in 1938 and stopped in 2003. Over 21 million of these cars have been sold, and it ranks the fourth out of the most influential cars of the 24th century. On March 2nd, Pioneer 10 is launched from Cape Kennedy. This was the first man-made satellite set to leave the solar system. Unfortunately, there has been no communication with the probe since 2003. An attempt to reconnect was made in 2004, but it failed. On March 3rd, sculptures of Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson were completed at Stone Mountain, Georgia. On March 24th, The Godfather was released in cinemas. The Godfather has received Academy Awards such as Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It is ranked the second greatest film in American history on the AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies. On March 30th, the Easter Offensive started in Vietnam. This attack from the north was massive and caught our defenses off guard. There were 3 fronts attacked simultaneously by the north into the south. On May 24th, the Magnavox Odyssey was released. The Odyssey was the world's first home video game console, predating Atari Pong. Ralph Baer was the inventor of the Odyssey, and his original prototype is in the National Museum of American History. Look at this thing, it looks like some kind of UFO. And the controllers were basically a pencil box with batteries sticking out of the side. But the Wiimote's weird design, that's okay. On May 26th, Richard Nixon and Leonid Brezhnev, signed the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, otherwise known as SALT. From May 26th to the 28th, the Watergate burglaries took place. From June 14th to the 23rd, Hurricane Agnes was the first hurricane in the hurricane season of 1972. It first made landfall on the Florida Panhandle, then moved northeastward, doing major damages to the mid-Atlantic region. The most damage was done in central Maryland through central Pennsylvania. This hurricane killed 129 people and cost $1.7 billion in damage. On June 17th, the U.S. returned the island of Okinawa back to the Japanese. The island was occupied and governed by the U.S. since World War II. On June 26th, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney co-founded Atari. Atari is famous for pioneering arcade games, making the home video game console popular, and making home computers. From July 10th to the 14th, the Democratic National Convention met in Miami Beach, Florida. They nominated Senator George McGovern for the president. On August 4th, the largest solar flare recorded to date occurred. This flare was giving off high levels of activity until August 10th. On August 12th, the last U.S. troops were withdrawn from Vietnam. On September 1st, Bobby Fischer defeats Boris Spassky from the Soviet Union in a chess match at Reykjavik, Iceland. He was the first American chess champion. Fischer's win for the U.S. ended the Soviets' 24 years of dominating the chess championship. The two of them played 21 different games, at which the last Spassky resigned. On September 4th, after the show had been ended in 1965, the first revamped episode of The Price is Right is hosted by CBS by Bob Barker. The Price is Right is said to be the second longest lasting game show in history and is the longest 5 days a week game show in the world. On October 28th, the Airbus A300 flies for the first time. A300s were the world's first twin-engine wide-body aircraft. The A300 incorporated new technologies for its time, with fitted wind shear protection, advanced autopilots, and electronically controlled brakes. The A300 ceased production in 2007. On September 7th, the U.S. presidential election where Richard Nixon destroys Democrat George McGovern in a landslide victory. On November 14th, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closes above 1,000 points for the first time in history. November 29th, Atari releases the first arcade version of Pong. Pong is the first game to achieve commercial success. It looks like a carved-out tree stump with a TV inside of it. On December 7th, Apollo 17 is launched. This is the last manned moon mission to date.